Hi, everybody. Okay, so I want to talk about setbacks today. What they actually are, how they are a sign of progress, because I know a lot of people can't seem to understand how that's actually part of the learning process. Um, and what setbacks actually are, and where people are stuck thinking, oh, this is the setback, and it's actually not. Um, so, in order to really talk about setbacks, I want to talk about learning in general. If anybody's ever taken a basic psychology class, probably learned about classical conditioning and Pavlov. If you haven't, definitely look it up. It's always the one everybody remembers because it's cool. You know, he had these dogs, and the whole experiment was basically having dogs learn like salivate to the sound of a bell when it was paired with food. Um, this is basically the graph from this experiment. So what went on there? Okay, so this here, this part of the curve is the experiment from Pavlov. Okay, so what basically happened was that he noticed that when the dog, obviously, when dogs eat food or when food comes around, dogs salivate in response to the food. It's a natural response, right? It automatically happens to their body. So what happened was when he was pairing up the sound of a bell with the food, right? Suddenly that sound of the bell reminded the dogs of food. So ding, food, ding, food. And the dogs would get the food and they'd go, right? So you pair things up enough times, you make association between things, right? You kind of learn, dogs start to learn that that bell now has meaning, which didn't have any meaning before. But when you pair something without meaning with something that already has meaning, suddenly this neutral thing becomes more meaningful. Okay? So this is called the acquisition phase. And this is the part of the experiment everybody basically remembers, where you're learning how something's important. So food, ding, food, ding, okay, until eventually you would ring the bell, ding, right? The dogs were salivating to the sound of the bell, and that happened over a period of time. These things were associated together, and now the bell's meaningful. It's related to us because what's happening is our ding is fear, panic, or whatever's happening now. Suddenly, situation, thoughts, sensations are now have more meaning. They have like a little zap to them. And the more we do things about them, right? These dogs are so used to being rewarded, not rewarded, but pairing up this bell with food that now this bell has a meaning. Okay? So this is the beginning of this experiment. People kind of forget what happened after, but this is the cool part because this is the dare part. Okay, so this is the peak of where bell is meaningful. Suddenly, the dogs are salivating to this bell without food attached to it. Okay, the rest of this experiment, basically all they did was to see, okay, so this is how we learned this behavior, we learned this response, and now the rest of this experiment was how to unlearn that, how to break that association. And all they really did was just ring the bell. That's it. Nothing else. No reward, no punishment, no reinforcement of anything. Ring, ring, ring. And now in the beginning, it was meaningful, right? Until over a period of time, right? Here's this place called the extinction phase. So over a period of time, that bell gradually starts to lose its meaning. Okay, so the association starts to become broken. So this is dare. Okay, this is where feel so danger. I feel like I have to do something, and we're basically teaching you here how to do nothing. Do nothing. My alarm is ringing. I have to do something. Have to breathe. Have to come down. Have to meditate. Have to ground myself. Have to sit up. Have to. Nope. Nope. Your body senses danger, and you don't have to do anything about it. So this is where people make progress. I'm starting to feel better. My alarm's kind of dying down a little bit. Great. Wonderful. Okay. Now, here in this experiment, there's a pause. There's a period of time, kind of nothing really happens. Okay. And then, for whatever reason, maybe it's a memory, maybe something reminded the dogs of, oh, this thing used to be meaningful. So, what would happen was called spontaneous recovery. So, as time would go on, bell still had no meaning. And then one day, for whatever reason, ding, It's like a memory was triggered and the dog started salivating again. Okay. This is what everybody thinks is a setback. And this is what I hear all the time. This is what I get a lot of calls on all the time. I was doing great. Everything's fine. My anxiety is low and gone. And then I woke up one morning and I just felt so disconnected. Or I had a panic attack out of the blue for no reason. Or I had this thought again and I haven't had that thought in so long. Oh my gosh, and now I'm in the setback. I thought it was gone. I thought this would be gone forever. Here we go again, back to the beginning. That's the words. That's not the setback. That's just the ding, right? So an old association was made. Your body did something automatically. It's how you treat this that determines the setback or not. So I woke up and I felt dizzy, and I hadn't felt dizzy in 3 weeks. And now today, I don't know why, right? We always try to figure out why. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I'm dizzy or I'm more anxious or I'm having heart palpitations. Whatever it is that you noticed, that was not the problem. It's how you treat what you've noticed. Okay? So something pops back up. So now this dog, so for the dog example, okay? Ding, out of nowhere, the dog starts salivating again. If these people started giving the dog food and saying, oh yeah, this bell is meaningful, here's some food, they begin the acquisition phase again. They start pairing it back up again as more meaningful. Okay, but ding, okay, if it dings again for whatever reason, and if you continue on with basically doing nothing about it, it starts the extinction phase again. Okay, this paper, I don't have printer paper here from the 80s, but a perfect graph of this goes out long, and there's a whole bunch of dings. Ding, extinction. Ding, extinction, right? Spontaneous recovery, a little bit further down the line, not as high up as before, and then it fades away. This is a fading process. This is how we learn things. This is how we forget things that we've learned. Okay? That's really what we're teaching at DARE. How to teach your body that what it's ringing as danger is not danger. So it might ring again. That's not the problem. That was actually never the problem to begin with. It was how we treated that alert, right? We had a false alarm, but then we acted as if it was danger. We either treated the situation as danger, the thought as danger, or our own alarm as danger, okay? So not like we're looking for a perfect graph. It might ding up a little higher sometimes. It might go for years and ding again. It's how you treat your body when it does something that you find uncomfortable, when you find unpleasant, when you find scary. Okay, something popped up. It's not the big monster came back and it's all back and I'm all the way back to square one. This is learning. This is nothing fancy or new. This is from, Pavlov was born in the 1800s. So this is not about anxiety. This is about learning and sort of unlearning associations between things. Okay, conditioned response. Your body's conditioned to respond in a certain way. And then we kind of start learning how to break that association between things. So when your alarm kind of dings back up again, that's a huge opportunity to practice not fighting it. I promise you, setback, as you see now, it's not really a setback. It's how you treat that return of discomfort that determines if I'm stuck in the setback or not. Because if I got dizzy again and how I treated it was, oh my God, it's back. I better meditate. I better grab my DARE books. I have to do something. I have to call for reassurance. We do a whole lot of work. We're not treating this as important again, as dangerous, as must be gone, trying to figure out why. But when it pops back up and we treat it with that DARE response, we treat it with, ooh, I feel so awful. I feel so uncomfortable. And the response is, oh, well, still scared, but I'm going to treat it as not important. Unimportance, irrelevance, not elimination. We are not looking for elimination. We're looking for unimportance. And when things become unimportant, they fade away on their own. You can't actively make this part happen. You can actively do this. You can actively make things important, but things become unimportant when you treat them as unimportant. So I know that was a little long-winded. I hope that helps when it comes to what a setback is and how it's actually an opportunity to practice how you treat what you've noticed pops back up. Let it pop back Let your body do things. Let your alarm show you thoughts that you don't like. It's how you treat those thoughts, okay? It'll always be ding, and then the ding will fade itself away when you no longer treat it as important. Okay, I hope you guys found that helpful. If I missed anything, if it was confusing, jot it down in the comments below and I will try and go back and answer them. Okay, take care. Bye.